A hero named Specter was in a face-off with the Ice Queen in a dungeon. The Ice Queen taunted Specter for abandoning his team to get to her, but he assured her that everything would be fine after he defeated her. The fight began, and it was a stalemate. But Specter managed to injure her in the exchange. The Frost Queen died and released a ray of light, and the message stated that Specter, the effects of Queen's might that cause him to be coated in ice exist outside the Frost Queen's nest. One of them was enraged at learning that only one of them could enter the nest and the others would certainly perish. As they deliberated about who would confront the Queen, one of the heroes said that Specter had the best chance of defeating her. Another hero agreed, arguing that most of them were at a disadvantage against ice-based monsters. The last two consented while praising Specter's skill. Specter was concerned, but they all trusted him, and the guy was certain that he would destroy the boss and that their deaths would not have been in vain. The 5 heroes who had dedicated their lives to destroy the Ice Queen were on display in a 25-year-old exhibition. Frozen-like statues as a result of this, many safe zones appeared on Earth. One of the children watching noticed that one of the statues moved, but the presenter denied it because everything was temperature-controlled 24 hours a day inside the glass wall and assured that nothing would happen. Everyone was shocked when the statue of Specter shattered and he fell to the ground, and a message congratulated him for absorbing 100 of the frost. He fell unconscious after destroying the Queen's nucleus and acquiring the Frostech skill. He awoke in a hospital, amazed that he had been frozen for 25 years. He was too weak to move after being frozen for so long. The president came and offered to explain the problem to him. When he saw a familiar face and questioned if he was Daegu, he was astonished and asked if he was Daegu. The president was embarrassed and ordered the staff to leave. He was made fun of by Jun-ho for his audacity. The president reprimands him because he anticipated too much of an emotional reunion with a scoundrel like him. The president flinched when Jun-ho asked him about the Doctor's strange reaction earlier when everything should have been over. He explained that after they defeated the Frost Queen, every player received a message stating that the Queen had been defeated and safe zones would soon appear on Earth. Everyone was happy and celebrated. But the next message ended the celebration by stating that the next floor had been opened and moving to the frontier area was now possible, implying that the Frost Queen was only temporarily defeated. The gamers and politicians in the association had a conference and agreed to dispatch an expedition squad to the border. The second level contained a vast quantity of information and resources, and they discovered 10 stories in all. Hearing this, Jun-ho recalled that it took him and his team 5 years to defeat the Frost Queen. He estimated that the current players should have cleared the 7th floor in 25 years. However, he believed that his team was the strongest and that the other players were much weaker, which is why only 5 of them went to fight the Frost Queen. He revised his estimations, and they should have been more accurate. After clearing the 5th level, Atlas questioned the president. In the previous 25 years, the president said that humanity had barely passed the 2nd level. Jun-ho was angered upon hearing this and inquired as to why the president said that the frost is required to clear the 3rd level. Queen's nucleus. The 3rd level is a volcanic zone, and only a few of gamers can withstand the heat to explore the area. They discovered an altar that required the Queen's nucleus to chill the surroundings. Jun-ho questioned hesitantly whether they had located the nucleus. The president was ashamed and regretted that they had searched the nest for so long without success. Jun-ho felt guilty because he had absorbed the nucleus. He feigned ignorance and comforted the president. The protagonist is very understanding, lol. He wondered how he should explain the situation. He decided to visit the museum where his team's statues were displayed. He sat down and told them that the world is in a better place. Every time he went up a floor, he believed he could regain his previous level and bring back his team. He informed the president that he wants to be a player again, which surprised the president because he had always said he would retire. The president was hesitant because of the fiends, who were players who use their power to commit crimes and terrorism for their own satisfaction. Jun-ho analyzed that the spear is good for keeping opponents at a distance, but when the enemy gets close, waving the spear around will help. The applicant failed as he was being beaten by the goblins. It was finally Jun's turn. The judges were unsatisfied with the previous applicants because they didn't even meet the basic requirements. When they saw Jun-ho enter carrying a variety of weapons, they assumed he was another Specter copycat. Duke saw this and thought he was showing off too much. The test starts and the dwarves were demolished by Jun's spear. Many more disappeared behind him and he killed them with throwing knives. Some of the enemies ran away. Jun-ho sniped them with his bow, remembering the one who taught him archery. His comrade Gilbert Green. The remaining dwarves rushed towards him. He used his sword to finish them. He was in pain after the fight because of his lord stats. The judges were pleased and appreciated his weapon competence, but since he only had daring weapon proficiency, they determined he was not worth the time and effort. Duke felt bad for fabricating his profile. In the president's office, the president was losing patience with Jun-ho for slacking off in his office. The president showed him information on the uncleared gates and asked him if he was going at his current level. Uncleared gates are filled with monsters and traps. Jun-ho noted that the benefits rise with time and that dungeons that haven't been conquered for years would provide a great deal of experience. Duke was worried and there was a safe way to do it. Jun-ho said his comrades are waiting for him and he will encounter the fiends eventually. He doesn't have much time, he needs to get stronger quickly. They choose the gate called the Novice's Grave and the clear condition is to survive till the sun rises. With this he was tied to the association. He asked if she can stay in the association. One Noe crafted the armor that Buildings Dupu presented him with. Jun-ho wants to thank Duke in person, but Duke warns him that if he does so, people will become suspicious of him and realize he is a Specter. Jun-ho decided to go to the dungeon after training his stamina for 10 days. Jun-ho was exhausted when he heard a voice pleading for assistance from within a coffin. The voice indicated that everyone on his squad had perished except for him. Jun-ho begged the voice to shout loudly so that he could pinpoint its specific position after the Xiaolong. Jun-ho discovered where the head is and shot through the coffin. Jun-ho realized that the reason this dungeon had murdered over 100 people was due of the trigger within the coffin, which broke out of the coffin and rage. But Jun-ho didn't give it a chance and cut it in two. The text indicated that the dungeon had been cleared. Jun level has increased by 4, and he received the Confession of the Dead skill, which allowed him to read the memories of the dead. Jun-ho like, and please subscribe if you like to continue reading the upcoming parts, and thank you for watching.